Trainer of the Year Derrick James stayed true to his word. Errol Spence Jr. has sparred for the first time since his accident, and they've resumed in training for Danny Garcia. Breaking news as new Errol Spence Jr. brand new pictures surface on the internet. And I'm going to talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I did set up a Zelle. The link to get to that is in the description. Shout out to all the people with the super chats, donations, the Cash App. We're working, and I'm hustling hard for you. And in true boxing ego fashion, I told you, my mission statement, my promise is to give you guys the latest and greatest. Well, I got some work for y'all. Breaking news, these pictures that you'll see in this video have just leaked on the internet of Errol Spence Jr. Now, Derrick James had confirmed in a recent interview that Errol Spence Jr., in preparation for his upcoming 12-round scheduled 12-round bout with Danny Garcia, is going to actually resume sparring. Now, I think it was the beginning of October, mid-October of last year, Errol Spence was involved in a horrific accident that almost claimed his life. Luckily, Errol Spence was able to escape with his life intact. He was ejected from the vehicle, but he escaped with relatively minor injuries. If you look at the video and seeing how it looked like a movie, like a James Bond movie or something. It looked crazy, Fast and Furious. It was a lot of carnage. You know, it could have been a lot worse, but thankfully he's here for his children and his family, and he's not trying to take a tune-up fight or a step back. He's a champion, unified champion. So he's resuming fighting the guy he was supposed to fight before we heard of this accident, which is Danny Garcia. Now, Derrick James again did a recent interview where he said, and I quote, he wasn't worried about Errol Spence's, comeback. He says he's going to take a look at his fighter. This is what Derrick James says. I'm not really worried about it. I've been with Errol. I've been with him, and I've seen his reaction time, and his timing is great. I push him so he's moving and reacting the right way. The sparring is just, in a sense, a continuum of what we've been working on. It's about how many shots he didn't get hit with. That's what it's all about. That's what I care about. Right? And he says, you're talking about Errol Spence, man. He's going to want to go at least 10 rounds or 12. He's in shape. Put it like this. He can go as many rounds as his sparring partners can go because he has been training for months. Right? He says everything has been going good. His body looks amazing. He looks like he would right before he weighs in right now. He's in great shape. He came in like 2 or 3 days for a camp with Jermell Charlo, who just looked great, versus Jason Rosario, in a fight where he was tested and had to show some patience and composure. He said it was a big pick-me-up for the camp. Derrick James also said, I'll look to see him be himself. Even before he was in training camp, I saw him in March when he was coming off the accident, being out of shape and having to deal with that. Then to build, and get in better and better shape to where he's at now. It's been amazing. It's been a process. He's been training since March. So you'll see a guy who's preparing for a fight, not a guy who's training for 6 or 8 weeks, but a guy who's been training for months. We worked out the kinks and everything like that, end quote. So Derrick James stayed true to his word as expected. Errol Spence is back in the gym, and just my observations on Errol Spence, I think he looks in amazing shape. That's the first thing that stood out in these pictures, which you guys will see on the screen. These pictures, Errol Spence, he looks like we haven't really seen him at this point, considering when he's fighting Danny Garcia. They're not fighting until November. And right now, as of recording this video, is September 29th. So he almost looks ahead of schedule. Now, I know people are going to speculate and say this or that happened in sparring camp and, just make up stuff. I'm not here to do that. I wasn't privy to these sparring sessions, nor even if I was, would I reveal what I see. We know there's a code of conduct and a certain couth that you have in general. You know, being boxing media, I've seen a lot of sparrings that I'm not at liberty to discuss. So I wasn't there anyway. So I don't know how he's looking. You know, people are going to try to look into these pictures that I'm showing a lot of you guys for the first time, and, you know, really just speculate on what Errol's looking like and say he looks worried or he looks confident. And you can't really draw too many conclusions from this. And the work is not supposed to get harder. It usually gets easier. So even if sparring was rough the first couple of days, it's just like going to a gym. You know, you go to a gym and you haven't been to the gym in 5 months, 6 months, it's going to be harder, but the work definitely gets easier. So me, I don't know if it was easy work, if it was hard. I don't know if they were just doing more of a shakeout. I don't know. That's for Derrick James and Team Errol Spence to discuss. So all I could go off of is what the picture's showing me and what I could tell you right here and now, not being privy to those sparring sessions. And the man's in shape. Like, you could tell he's drenched. It's almost like he has a sauna suit. He might have had a sauna suit on at some point. I don't know, but he's drenched in sweat and covered in sweat. So he looks like he's getting some real pounds off. And, you know, this accident may have made Errol Spence into a monster. He was already a monster before, but he self-admits that on like podcasts like All the Smoke and I think Brian Custer, a couple other interviews that he's done, that he lost a little bit of his focus. More so, he said he always trains like an animal, like a beast, and his gym is hot and stuff like that, being in Texas and being from DeSoto. But in the off season, like basically the pre-camp, now if everything's clicking in the pre-camp, then he's already ahead of schedule. And I think we could see a ferocious Errol Spence if that's the case. Again, I know people are wondering what he's gonna look like, you know, when he takes a punch because of the accident. And that's, you know, a real life thing that you have to consider. But he's saying he's good. He's signed up for the fight. We just have to, you know, follow Errol's lead on this particular topic. You know, I can't tell you how another man feels internally or his body. Like, he's very fortunate if all of what they're saying is true, and he, you know, doesn't have a lot of lingering issues or aches and pains and stuff like that. But so far, so good. You know, he's training with guys that he's worked with in the past, I believe, and he looks to be in phenomenal shape, monster shape. So ahead of the schedule, you know, people are gonna worry. Some people are gonna be like, oh, he's looking the same. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Some people are gonna say, oh, he's overtraining. I'm not gonna do that on my channel, you know, because I don't like to speculate on stuff where I really don't know what I'm talking about. So I like what I'm seeing from the pictures. I will tell you that. I like what I'm seeing from the pictures. He got a kind of a new dude. He looks very lean. He has covered in sweat. Let's go. Let's see what this is talking about. I think he needs to be in great shape. Danny Garcia is a great counterpuncher, great with timing, very experienced guy who's fought the likes of Zab Judah, fought the likes of Lucas Matisse, a fight that people thought Danny would lose. Lamont Peterson, they have that as a mutual opponent. You know, Danny's been in there with Sean Porter, a mutual opponent with Errol Spence. Keith Thurman, you know, a guy that Errol Spence wanted to fight but couldn't land that fight for obvious reasons. So I cannot wait. So as I mentioned, we got to just follow Errol Spence's lead. You know, I think Errol is a true throwback fighter. He's always pushed for the tough fights like the Keith Thurmans. I don't think Keith Thurman really wanted to fight him. He's recently been on social media and he's taken stances like basically saying there's too many belts in boxing and how do you become undisputed with all these titles, and would someone with secondary titles be undisputed? So he's taking those kind of throwback old school fighter stances, and now he's doing it yet again. He's fighting a guy that we understand he was supposed to fight before the accident, but he went through the car and went through the accident, and he's still fighting that same guy, which is a dangerous opponent for anybody at welterweight. So I think he knows the implications, and he could just be one of those people who need to be tested, and you know, that life lesson that he learned from the situation help realign things and get his mind right, and helped him become grateful and see where his priorities truly lie. he has a ranch now and stuff like that. And from what I understand from listening to Derrick James' interview, this is something that he's always wanted. So it seems like Errol is in a very good headspace. As long as his body and his mind is strong and he's fully recovered, like they're saying, this should be a great fight. Now, speaking of the fight with Danny Garcia, I like the matchup. I always have. And I do have questions. I don't think they really mentioned much about the undercard or where the fight's going to take place. I did see something in passing that said it could be at AT&T Stadium. I don't know if they're doing small crowds. I don't know what's going on. So if you guys have heard anything regarding where the location of this particular fight is and how they're going about that business, let me know in the comment section. I haven't really researched. I'm just gearing up. I was obviously real vested in the Charlo fight, but this is another great fight. PBC is just doing their thing, Fox and Showtime. I really had a good time with the Charlo doubleheader. And, you know, we about to get right back into the swing of these big fights to close the year very strong. But Errol Spence, he's back in the gym. He's training. He's looking like he's in monstrous shape already. This dude could really be a problem. So it's up to Derrick James and Errol to configure and get a game plan for a guy like Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia showed a hell of a beard, a hell of a chin. So some guys you can't stop. We seen that last weekend with Jamal's fight versus Derevchenko, because Jamal hit him with some ish. He hit him with some shots, some uppercuts. Like even in the 12th round, Jamal hit Derevchenko with a nasty uppercut. And that's when your body's probably the most tired in a 12-round fight in the final round. And, you know, Derevchenko, he took it and ended the fight on his feet. But I don't know if Derevchenko will be the same fight. But anyway, it's a great fight with Errol. He looks to be in great shape. Ego Weight Watchers, where I give you guys a look into the fighter lifestyle before, after progress pics, especially when they have that upcoming fight. Ego Weight Watchers, aka Ill. Let me know how I did, giving you guys the latest and greatest. You hear it first on this side. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you assess from Errol in these pictures. They say a picture says 1,000 words, so let's see some comments. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.